And we are, okay. Everybody, and welcome back to this session. My name is Vivian Annie, and I'm the founder of the Proactive Parents Academy and the convener of this conference. We are live for the second session of today, and our guest is already in the studio in the person of Wendy Ologi. Wendy Ologi is the founder of the Intentional Parents Academy and an author of the 4 best-selling parenting books. For more details about Wendy, please go to www.wendyologe.com. Because of our want of time, we'll be bringing her in a moment so that she can take up from us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in this platform, Wendy Ologi. Hello, Bob. Can you hear me?
Can hear you, Ma. Good evening.
Good evening, Bob. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, Bob. Welcome. We'll be leaving the stage for you to continue. We are having so much of network hitches, so we've not so that we can continue immediately. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm hoping that I can be heard and also can be seen. Let me know that you can see me and you can hear me. My name is Wendy Ologi, and I'm the founder of the Intentional Parent Academy. I am also the author of best-selling parenting books. You could find anywhere in Africa, right? I like to say that parenting is first about you before it is about any other person. Okay, all right. We run a community of over 80,000 people right on Facebook, and one of the things that I'd say is that parenting is not about tips and hacks. You also need to go through the process. We also run many courses in the academy. The Intentional Parent Academy is all about leading you from one point to another. All right. And I like to say that because we believe in process, we run the foremost, process-driven course that you have in the parenting system. Today, I'm going to be talking about connection parenting, and I'm going to be referring a lot to my book, Connect to Correct. All right. I would like to pick a copy. Okay. So I'm going to be referring a lot to my book, Connect to Correct. Connect to Correct is a book I wrote because I believe in connection parenting. I'm here. I don't think that there is any other person watching. Maybe it's just me. I want to believe that you're going to still log on, and then we would start and continue this conversation. Right, connection parenting is when you parent, it's crucial that you need to realize that you're not raising a mini me, but you're raising a spirit throbbing with his own signature. Right, it's important to separate who you are and who your child is, from all of this. Children are not asked to possess in any way. All right. So when we know this in the depth of our soul, we learn to tailor our raising of our children to their needs and not model them to fit our needs. The normal thing we know is that parenting is hierarchical, right? The parent knows best, and normal top-down, bottom process. But connection parenting actually topples the paradigm and creates a mutual a mutuality where the child can also be the teacher as well. So teaching the parent how to enter present moments like only children know how to do. Connection parenting is staying away from fear-based control tactics, punishing, yelling, threatening, seeking more enlightening ways to actually create boundaries with your children. Connecting with your child is the foundation of everything that you're going to learn in parenting. All right? The self-worth, self-esteem, self-actualization, and all of that. So our parenting in the today is based on fear, which shouldn't, be. The truth is that the way parenting is done, what we know currently cannot be sustainable in this generation. So we need to know more, we need to do more, we need to actually begin to undo many of the things that we know currently. All right? So the truth is that we need to actually learn more. We must begin to focus, prioritize, and make relationship an anchor. We run a program called the Inner Circle program in the academy. And the Inner Circle program runs annually, where we lead parents to actually be able to do things in the way that it should be done. All right, it runs every year, and Vivian Annie is also part of that process. So, all right, so one of the things that I say to parents there is that the first thing you want to recognize is that when it comes to parenting, you are the most important person in the equation. Okay, you are the most important person in the equation. When I say important, I mean the person who parenting is actually rested on your shoulder. Parenting is not about the child, it's about you, the parent. And when we say parenting is about you, that's one of my most favorite quotes from this book, Connect to Correct. I say parenting is about you first before it is about any other person. So we're talking about parenting, and you should think you. Connection parenting is let's figure it out together kind of parenting. Manipulation of another out of fear, even a child, doesn't really work. So it doesn't even work. It has never worked. And then what still in this generation even makes it worse. I'm going to run so that would also not take a lot of time. You must begin to reckon that my way or the highway kind of parenting control is over. The new energy is connection. All right? The new energy is connection. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have boundaries. That doesn't mean that we don't create limits. That doesn't mean that we cannot hold our children accountable, but we must learn new ways to do them. Use mistakes as a way to connect, to children who habitually seek, or avoid blame. And many of the times when these children are actually seeking and avoiding blame, they are actually more prone. These children are more prone to actually wanting to do the things that their peers say, just because there's so much stiffness. Connection parenting, or what we call the conscious parent, is actually turning the spotlight from the child and managing the child and obsession and all of those things, and focusing on the evolution of yourself as a parent. It's about realizing that except you as a parent has raised yourself to a certain level of emotional maturity, what we call emotional intelligence, they will really not be able to actually, service the child's spirit. You may make a seemingly successful child out of the kid, but you will not be able to fully attune to the needs of the child and meet their temperament before them, because you haven't learned what to do. You cannot change your child without changing yourself. You cannot, let me say that again, you cannot change your child without changing yourself. So it's all about you. How do you connect? Number one, the first thing you need to understand is that you need to create time to connect with your children. You need to make communication a priority. Children, they deserve explanation as much as adults do as well. So you must learn to reason with your children, make expectations clear, express your feelings, work out solutions with your child, negotiate. Children who participate in decisions are more motivated to actually do them. Show them your love is unconditional. That's another thing. Do not base your love on what it is that they have, what it is that they do. That's not what your love is based on. All right? The next one, you need to know your child and limitations as a parent. You need to actually know your child, understand your child. A lot of us are parenting children we do not know. We do not understand. We must understand who our children is. That will help us to actually be able to understand who we are parenting. You need to understand yourself. You need to know your need. You need to know your limitations as a parent. You are not perfect. You need to admit it. When you are burnt out, you need to admit it. When you need help, you need to go for help. People think that asking for help is actually something that weak people do. Actually, it is only emotionally stable people that are able to, find help and create it. All right. I can only see one person on the stream. I hope that I can be heard. All right. And that's we keep going. You need to be more flexible and be willing to adjust. I often say that if you feel let down by your child's behavior all the time, check it. You might be unrealistic, you might be having unrealistic expectations of your child. If you think in shoulds, you will find it difficult to connect. You should have. You need to change your thought process and stop thinking in shoulds. You should have known. Why didn't you? You should have. So you need to understand that you need to check your unrealistic expectation, because many of the times, if you feel let down by your child's behavior, it could be that there's something that you're doing that you need to undo. The next one, you need to set limits and be consistent with your discipline. Now, I would like to say that discipline is structure, not yelling, flogging, hitting, and jumping. No, discipline is structure. And you need to understand that. So if you can understand that discipline is structure, then you would understand that what you need to do is to set discipline, create limits, and be consistent. Time is not going to permit me to talk about discipline a lot. I have a book called The Discipline That Works. You could get a copy. The Discipline That Works gives you insight on what discipline should be, all right? This session is not about discipline. You need to catch your children being good and tell them that they're being good. If you find yourself criticizing more than you're complimenting, then there's something that you need to redo. Now, I'm going to just give you an insight of the breakdown of what connection means in parenting using the acronyms. Number one, C means communicate. You need to learn to communicate. Many of the times, a lot of parents cannot communicate. They do not know how to communicate. So, of course, when you do not know how to communicate, you resort to violence. One of the reasons why parents hit their children is because they lack communication skills. I said this in the Academy to Parents, that we work with a lot. Communication is key as a parent. Many of the times you find out that people are not communicating. People are not communicating. They are just reacting. So number one, for you to connect, you need to communicate. Take communication classes if you need to. I had to do that myself on my journey, right? Take communication classes. I was speaking to the parents in our academy in the Inner Circle program, that we run annually. And I said to them, the reason why you struggle is because you lack skills. Parents who lack skills struggle. Children who lack skills struggle. I have an 11-year-old, or I have a set of 11-year-olds, I have a set of twins who man my kitchen. And now that didn't come by just, being everywhere, shouting, screaming, no. Today I was in another conference with parents earlier today, and I was telling them about structure, and I was telling them how you can actually begin to put things together. I see a lot of parents wake up in the morning, they're screaming, they're shouting. The mornings in your home is full of tension. Over the past 11 years, my children's mornings and our mornings are the best that you can ever think of, because we have been able to build this structure. Now, let me also say this. Our children get ready at 6 a.m. every day. There's no struggle. There's no anything, at least in the past 2-3 years. They make their food when they get up to actually do that. They've been making their own food when they wake up in the morning at 10 a.m. Now, how did they get here? We understood that you need to teach and you need to communicate effectively. So you wake up in the morning, you're screaming everywhere, you're yelling. Yelling is no communication. If you're a yelling parent, you're not communicating. You're just pouring water on a rock. And your children are never going to hear you. People don't hear you when you yell. So when you yell, what is happening is that people are going to be, it's all about trying to protect themselves. Now, a lot of the times, What happens when you yell is that, the person you're yelling at is more interested in self-preservation. Now, self-preservation is a first instinct of a human being. So the first thing that you do, your child will start looking for self-preservation. How can I deny the fact that I'm not the one that did this? So they are not listening to you. They are just looking for a way to avoid whatever it is that you're saying. So they are either arguing or they tune off. Sometimes they are quiet, but if they've tuned off, you are yelling, you're talking, they can't hear you. People don't listen when you yell. They are more interested in defending themselves, and that's it. So learn to communicate. That's the first one. Letter O, you need to own up to your limitations. I like to tell parents a lot that it is, I'm looking for the best words to use, right? It's crazy to think that you as a parent can raise, a child with everything you know alone without having to learn. Then you're limited in yourself. That's one thing you need to understand. You're limited in yourself. There are a lot of things out there, knowledge out there that you need. I know that many times in the academy, by the way, we have over almost 1,000 parents in the TIP Academy, right? And many of the times when we, engage them, we will have webinars every month, and we were talking, to them about owning up your limitations. A lot of parents think, so wouldn't that make us come out as weak? People actually think that when they come out to say, I do not know, it becomes a weakness. No, it's not a weakness, it's a strength. When you agree that you don't know, we agree that you need to be held accountable. And for the parents who have worked with us, who have been in the academy for that long, they actually have seen so much results. Number N, you need to learn never to manipulate. Learn never, ever to manipulate. Don't manipulate your children. There's no need to manipulate them. Don't manipulate them. Don't use whatever it is. Oh, can't you see what you're doing? If you don't do it, all those things, they are all manipulations don't work. When you raise your children on sentiments, on emotions, your children are going to be limited to understand why things are done the way they are. All right. So I remember at the TIP annual conference, which holds every July every year, there was a speaker who was talking about he who knows how, who knows why is better than he who knows why, how. So that your child knows how and does not know why. He who knows why will lead over he who knows how. So you need to understand that you don't manipulate your children. Many of the times we were raised, a lot of us were raised in manipulation, a lot of the people in our generation. Remember the child of who you are. When you go out there, just know where you're coming from and all of that's not enough. Your children need to understand what do we stand for as a family. That is what actually your children need to do. So that's not enough. At the other end, you need to learn to negotiate. Negotiation does not show that you're weak. No, negotiation just means that you're putting empathy in front of you. And like I was sharing with the parents today at a boot camp where I was sharing earlier today in the morning, I said that if you raise children who lack empathy, then your children will not be able to have any impact in the world. For you to make impact in the world, you need empathy. Empathy is actually the root of whatever it is that you're doing. Number E, you need to evolve. You need to evolve from where you are to where you're going to. You need to evolve. You need to move from that parent you are today to the parent that you need to be. All right? Start doing something. It's okay for us to hop from one conference to another, free conference and all of that, but it is more important for us to actually begin to implement this message. It is more important for us to implement this message. You can listen to it. I usually will say that miracles come by doing. It is faith that comes by hearing. So you build all your faith. How does the miracle come? The miracle comes by what you do. And until you do, then there's no miracle anywhere. And wisdom is not in what you know. Wisdom is in what others know that you don't know. So if you catch yourself telling yourself, I know everything, then there's a problem with that system that you're already creating. So you need to evolve. You need to evolve from where you are to the place where you need to be. You need to evolve. I've had my own share of the journey of evolving. I've evolved from where I was. I've parented for years. I'm privileged to have 3 children, 1 foster daughter, a set of twins. Our foster daughter is married. Started parenting as a teen. It's been a journey. When you read Connect Correct, you'll see how I evolved from control kind of parenting to connection kind of parenting. Everything I teach borders on connection kind of parenting. Because we have a lot of us who are here. A lot of us who are here every day by day. And, we're just controlling and never have learned how to actually connect with people. So we need to understand how this works and begin to actually put a lot of things in perspective. Evolve. You need to evolve. If you don't evolve, then you can't change anyone. I had to evolve from where I was coming from. In fact, the Intentional Parent Academy in itself, all right, which is, I've done so much in Africa and the world at large today, was born out of the need for me to evolve. It was because I needed to evolve. And as I was evolving, it gave me the opportunity to actually do what it is that I do today. I remember when we were in a global parenting conference in the US some years back, in 2019, and we were asked, different questions from different people from different, I was representing Africa, different people from different, places all over the world. And one of the things that they said, I said to them that listening to these people on this panel shows me that the problems of parenting is universal. However, there was a lesson that I picked up from that forum. What was it? I realized that in Africa, we have learned helplessness. These other people in these other continents are willing to learn, to do more, to do extras, to learn. So I realized that the learning abilities in all of these communities outside of Africa was actually, the disparity was so much. Our people have issues learning because we just think all by ourselves. Then let me explain the concept of learned helplessness. It's a psychological term, a term that we use in psychology that says that you want to learn, you need to learn, but you just don't have the zeal to learn anymore. So learned helplessness is a thing, and it's something that I have seen in Africa. I like the way one of my mentors said, or Lakule Shoyinro will say, that people are confidently foolish in their foolishness. And I've seen a lot of parents who know nothing about raising children and their parents. Unfortunately, that's what we have. You need to hold yourself accountable to begin to tell yourself that I need to do more. Many times when parents come into the Inner Circle program in our academy, they do a few months and they begin to realize that I should have been doing more. I don't even know what I'm doing at all. So you need to understand that it is about you first. And when you hear the things you need to learn, even the people who think that they are experts on their journey, I have been privileged to work with parents that have youngest 18-year-olds. In the academy, we have parents who have 18-year-olds, who have 16-year-olds, and all what have you. Same story. Some parents have reached out to me to say, I wish I knew what I knew today, some 20 years back. If you have younger children, I usually tell you that you have an advantage. You have an advantage to actually start up this journey. I am a full advocate of intentional parenting. I'm an intentional parenting coach. What I teach is about being intentional with you. Intentional about your life, intentional about your children, intentional about the things that you do. Intentionality goes beyond just, saying, I'm a parent, I'm learning. And you need to be intentional about even your thought process, because that even affects the things that you tell your children without even knowing. You need to be intentional about what you're listening to, because that affects your parenting without even knowing. You need to be intentional about the things that you're seeing, because that affects your parenting without even knowing. There's a course we call Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro. When we did it in the academy, I said to the parents who were at that course, all right, that one of the things about sex is that the first move when it comes to sex education is you, because you need to define what sex and what are the hindrances are for you. Many of the times we want to start teaching from the child perspective. No, we can't. You must teach from the perspective of you first, because your child is a product of whatever it is that you create. The next one is that you need to be conscious. I've already started talking about it. C for consciousness. Intentionality. That's it. Consciousness. How conscious are you? Are you just parenting on the move, assuming things, thinking that, oh, everything's just going to happen? Assumption parenting is a killer. If you read my book, Connect to Correct, I wrote a lot about assumption parenting because that's what we are doing, assumption parenting. None of us have actually come to a place where we begin to review whatever it is that we know. I was raised by parents who are democratic, so I call it democratic parenting. I was not raised to understand that violence is a solution. So when I say it, it's a bit awkward to me to understand that this is actually what it is that we do. All right. So I don't know. I can see that Vivian is back up in the stream. I'm just hoping that my time isn't up. All right. So I'm going to quickly just run through. T is for teaching. I usually say teach, don't hit. You need to learn to teach and not to hit. Unfortunately, what we do is that we hit, we don't teach. We hit, we don't teach. So you need to learn to teach. And if you're going to teach, then you need to understand that you need to actually learn what you need to do. For you to make any form of impact, then you need to teach. Then I, infallibility is not an option. Many of the times we find out that a lot of us are actually preaching infallibility. You're not infallible, you're not perfect, you can't be. Scratch that. When I was your age, I didn't used to do this, scratch it. Oh, when I was 11, I was very perfect, scratch it. Oh, I never had any feeling for a boy. All these feelings that you have, oh, scratch it. They don't exist. You see this perfection thing, this infallibility attitude, doesn't help you. There's something that we say in the inner circle in the academy. The inner circle program is an annual program that we run every year. And there's something that we say. We say that you wear a humility agbada. If you must do parenting in this way, then you must be humble enough to learn. Humble enough to learn from coaches. Humble enough to learn from children. Humble enough to learn from everybody and people around you. You need to understand humility, the place of humility. Humble enough to own up when you make a mistake, because you are not perfect. So the infallibility theory does not exist in parenting. Forget what you heard about your parents from your parents. It's not true. O is order. If there are no orders, if you do not put order in your parenting, you can exchange that for structure. If there is no order in your parenting, then you make a mess of your parenting in totality. Your parenting needs a lot of structure. For instance, we're on holiday. What are you doing during the holiday? I shared a post on my social media handle of how my daughter is 11, my son is also 11 as well. They read a book. This book is over 400 pages, all right? So they read it, summarized it, put it together in a PowerPoint presentation and put it out there. Because there is a plan for the long holidays, we're able to achieve a lot. A lot of us, there's no structure, nothing. It takes us to the last one. Never leave it to chance. If you leave your parenting to chance, then you are not planning. Intentional parenting is not about perfection. It's just the difference between you and I is just that I have my goal in front of me. I can see it and I'm working towards it. So I'm not perfect. So none of us are, but I have a plan. Many of us, if I ask now, do not have a plan, do not have family values, do not have family missions. You don't even know where you're going. One of the coaches, I believe Ebuka also spoke at this conference, one of the who spoke at the TIP annual conference, said something about running with a message. You know, talked about a king who, the servant who was running to the king without a message. He ran a very long mile, and when he got to the king asked, "What message do you have?" There was no message. You can't run without a message. What plans do you have? What plans have you put in place for your parenting to actually become successful? Don't chance it. If you can't chance it in today's world. People often ask me, Oh, how did your children start cooking at 10 and being able to man the kitchen completely? We planned it. It was in part of our parenting plan that by 10, our children would be able to man the kitchen without us being there. So we started early. As early as 2, 3, our children were in the kitchen doing things they could do. So the kitchen is, the cooking is something that comes really easy to my children. You don't need to force it. Now, why did I even need to learn cooking in the first place? You would think that they need to learn cooking so that I can come and tell you, oh, my children can cook. No, far from it. They needed to learn cooking because there's something called executive functioning skills. And cooking is one of the ways to build many tenets of the executive functioning skills. So cooking was very, easy, and it was right in the home. So we're able to take that up and make it what it is that we can use. All right, I would like to round up here now and ask Vivian to come up, and if there are the questions, I will be able to take the questions. If you want to get my books, all my books are available on Amazon, and if you want to reach out to me as well, you can reach out to me on, just look for Wendy Ologi. I'm the only one. I'm the only Wendy Ologi in the world. There's no other. When you put it on anywhere, you will find me. Anywhere at all, on Facebook, or you search the Intentional Parents with the X on Instagram, so that you'll be able to follow us, to see our resources. We have an array of resources when it comes to parenting. And there's nothing I will say here that is even going to do justice to what it is that we do. All right. So, but take action today. If there's nothing that you found to do, take action today. First, get a copy of Connect to Correct, since we're talking connection parenting. Start from there. It's going to help you a lot. If you're outside of Nigeria, buy it on Amazon. It's going to help you a lot. All right. If you are in Nigeria, reach out to us and you'll be able to get a copy. Thank you so much, Vivian. I can't see any conversation in the comment. I would want to believe that I was heard, praying that I was, and right, I can't see any questions at all. I can't see any questions at all. Tell me more about your limitation as a parent and checking on realistic expectations. Awesome, Jen. All right. So limitations, you as a parent, you're limited. Your limitation is that it's you will determine what your limitations are. There are a lot of limitations as a human being. All right. There are things that you don't have. For instance, I have a friend who is a coach and who understands that structure doesn't come easy to her. So she's been going through a lot of sessions with me personally to learn structure in her parenting. So she's seeking help in that angle so that she'll be able to actually make it up, and be able to use that. So limitations, we're limited. Our experiences are one of the things that limit us. A lot of us have limited experiences. We're not exposed enough. So you need to learn from people who have actually been there. You need to learn to learn. I like the way that I say that. You need to learn. All right? I like to share this quote by Adam Grant. He says, insecure people pretend to know things they don't. They dismiss expertise from others. Secure people admit what they don't know. They defer to expertise in others. Proactive people take the initiative to learn what they don't know. They acquire expertise from others. Can you see the difference? So we have the insecure people, we have the secure people, and we have the proactive people. A lot of us are still at the secure people. We need to begin to move from security to proactivity. And interestingly, that's the theme of the name of the group that we're speaking of, the proactive parent. You need to become proactive. Proactivity takes you to take initiative to learn what you don't know, and then begin to also acquire expertise from others. Right? So checking on realistic expectations is from your end. You need to understand, what can my 10-year-old do? Have I taught my 10-year-old to do those things? I've seen a lot of parents, when we started sharing about the things that our children cook. All right. A parent reached out to me and said, oh, I have a 10-year-old. I have a 10-year-old that can't do anything. she started to expect that her 10-year-old would be able to do the same thing. But of course, that wouldn't work because her 10-year-old have not been taught how to actually do those things. So that's unrealistic. It's an expectation that is unrealistic. So the fact that you have a 10-year-old, these things can't jump on your 10-year-old. For instance, I see parents who say, my child is 13, can't do anything, can't jump on them. You assumed that because the child is 13. I said the other day in our Tuesday live, where I said that noise and change is noiseless. Your child is in front of you, changing every day. You're there speaking English and arguing and saying, oh, I don't need to learn. Change is noiseless. The skill you said you were building when you taught your children to cook, please talk about it. The executive functioning skills. It's going to take me sessions. You can ask Vivian. Vivian understands it. It's going to take me sessions. I teach that to the parents of the inner circle, executive functioning skills, where we teach, how you can actually, now, a lot of the children, right? You can Google that. A lot of the children, a lot of us, not even just children, adults do not understand, do not have these skills. So we struggle with a lot of these skills. So we struggle with a lot of things. Structure, the things we need to do. There's a lot of struggle because we do not have the skills. So I'm going to just say a bit about the executive functioning skills, all right, that allows you. Some of the executive functioning skills we're talking about organization, we're talking about memory stability, we're talking about proficiency in adaptable thinking, that's an executive functioning skill. We're talking about self-monitoring, that's an executive functioning skill. We're talking about planning, that's an executive functioning skill. We're talking about working memory, that's an executive functioning skill. We're talking about time management. We're talking about organization. We're talking about, these are the 7 basic executive functioning skills, all right? These are the basic executive functioning skills. So that is what executive functioning skill is about. Okay, thank you, Jen. That is what executive functioning skill is about, all right? Executive functioning skills. So you can, go get it up, but there are ways to build it. There are things that you need to do. Bottom line, do not leave your parenting to chance. It's going to make a mess. If you do that, you will make a mess of everything that you already are doing. All right? I guess that is where we begin to round off. All right? Thank you so much, Clementina, for being here, and Jen, George, Okoro. All right? If you want more resources from us, get our books on Amazon. We have over 24 published books on Amazon. Right? You can also get books. If you're in Nigeria, we'll have 4 hard copy books, and we are publishing and still working and creating content. You can join, follow us on Instagram, The Intentional Parents with the S, and join our community, The Intentional Parents, or you can find me, Wendy Ologi, anywhere, and follow me, right? And learn more about what we have. All right? Thank you so much again and again for joining me and for having me at this conference. Vivian, I don't know if you can still hear me. I don't know if you're still here, but I think that we're good to go. I want to guess that we are good to go. We are good to go. I got it. Executive functioning skills. Yes, 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 Clementina. All right. Okay, so we call it a day here. I want to be sure that Vivian is okay and done with me, right? I guess she's having some network challenges. And I don't know what else, how we are going to help. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Going to help. All right. I don't think there's any more stuff. Okay. All right. I wanted to be sure. All right. So thank you, everybody, and do have an amazing evening. If you need more, please reach out to me. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Thank you everybody for being here. The network booted me out and can anybody hear me? Please, if you can hear me, do let me know in the comment section. Can anybody hear me? Okay, thank you everyone for being here. Coach is already done with our session, and we're going to round this session up now. The network booted me out and I couldn't thank Coach for being in this platform and for the awesome session that she gave. So if you have any question, I don't know, did you drop your questions for her? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We are ending this session. Someone said she concluded and waited before she left. This is the first time a speaker finished and the network couldn't allow us to finish up. So thank you, everybody. The next session will begin at 7:15, and then we wrap it up for 2021, the Proactive Parents Conference. Again at 7:15.